Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we got back onto the Martyr itself and cleared the landing deck and started to have weird hallucinations. So we have to talk to Omicron Ark and it looks like Metrodora Thelema, so we'll talk to her first.
You have the results of my physical checkup. Do you know what could have caused that strange episode?
Let me be very clear. Even a genius like me can't work miracles with inferior equipment like what you have on this ship. Still, your test results don't indicate that you suffer from any maladies that could have caused your symptoms. I have detected some interesting anomalies, though.
What are you talking about?
Very precise microscopic surgical marks on your brain. Traces of an old mind-cleansing process.
I am an Inquisitor. We carry the burden of terrible truths and secrets that sometimes even we are not allowed to keep for long. Of course, I have been mind-scrubbed before, and I am certain that I should praise the Emperor that I was freed from dangerous memories. Could that be the cause of the symptoms?
Normally, no. But you have only recently been experimenting with a unique psychic artifact. There is no data about this Uther's tarot. Fact, you risked using the deck, and now you have had an extraordinary psychic experience.
I admit, it's a strange coincidence.
Okay, so we know the Inquisitor has been mind scrubbed, which, I mean, if you don't know what mind scrubbing is, the title alone kind of explains it. Your mind is scrubbed like a Brillo pad against a greasy, like, pan.
I have the map of the local teleport beacon network. What now?
The teleportarium requires exact coordinates. You must know Lord Klosterheim's location, and your chances to find him on the Martyr on your own are approximately 0.
This sounds very reassuring so far.
The analytical recitations show only one swift solution. I must warn you that the suggestion itself could be a breach of several Adeptus Mechanicus protocols. You must seek an audience with the great presence controlling the sensory systems on the Martyr. You need to talk to the machine spirit.
How? I'm not familiar with the process.
First you locate a mainframe cogitator. Then I will provide instructions.
Yay! Find a new sphere cogitator on deck B Umbra 11. The new sphere! I'm a dumbass. My tech priest Omicron Ark is adamant that I must find a special cogitator to contact the machine spirit of the Martyr directly. This could be my only way to locate Klosterheim on this colossal ship. I have noticed an uncharacteristic excitement in Omicron's soulless mechanical features. He is clearly intrigued by the anomalies.
Tech priest, I want you to go over my mission details again. How should I do that? I am not a tech priest. Should I know what that is?
Alright, so I switched guns to a Melt-A-Gun. We'll see how that pans out. Also, quick run through. I slapped a couple points into critical hits. I want to get... This is going to hurt, getting a negative 5% damage reduction, but gaining 5% crit chance will be nice. And then 1% of my max health healed on a critical hit. I then want to go through here and plus 1% crit chance on attack stacks until a critical hit. This way I can kind of fudge the numbers and get some healing when I attack. Otherwise, the rest of this is kind of meh. But, you know, increased critical hit chance. I can't say no to it because then, you know, I can actually get crits and heal. And single target DPS will really benefit from this. This doesn't have the cool zappy gun or the melting effect that I was hoping for. That's a different... I think that's a multi-melta. Oh well. This is working quite well. Oh god, mines. I didn't even notice them. Nice, everyone's dead. Typically not a thing you say at any point in life. Let me shoot the mine. But so, I was thinking, when I had finished recording last episode, you know what would be a really cool 40k game? Like, Space Hulk, but not existing Space Hulk, because the quick version, I think it's incredibly stupid to send Terminators into an area they can barely turn around in, especially against enemies who will rip through their armor like it's nothing anyway, so why waste the armor? Why not send tactical marines who are at least a bit more maneuverable? That's just me trying to apply a logic to a product of Games Workshop. But a Space Hulk game where you go in, you can do it with a team, AI, players, whatever. You have different loadouts, find different gear, you know, you can find fancy war gear, named stuff with different effects. You know, you can even do kind of styled war gear like how Dawn of War 2 did it. Because that was actually pretty cool. But then
Tech Priest,
you...
what should I do when I find the mainframe cogitator? You are aware that I can't perform any of those, right?
But, as I was saying, so you'd have your team, you'd have your war gear and stuff that you can find, but then you'd go into a randomly generated Space Hulk. Because for anyone who doesn't know, the lore is essentially just when people are flying through the warp and all this stuff, crap gets smashed together, or when you come out of the warp, and as a result, asteroids get stuck together, ships get stuck together, anything and everything. Within a Space Hulk, you can find, and it is including but not limited to, Gene Stealers and Tyranids. You can find Chaos, like Space Marines, or in the case of like an Imperial ship that crashed, it might have some people who've kind of degraded into worshipping Chaos. You have Orcs. There's, I would assume, a chance for Dark Eldar, because why wouldn't there be? Essentially anything can show up in them, and you could have a ton of varied environments. You could do, you know, you could essentially have randomly generated, effectively floors, like a Binding of Isaac, but first person, and then the player has to go through, fight a boss in each floor, get more gear or currency or whatever it may be, and then at the end it's kind of a, hey, you completed this one, and then you can go back in, you select difficulties. Your difficulty could even dictate how many floors there are, or how many different levels. You could have, I mean, you could sit there and crank the difficulty up really high, have difficult enemies, and have, you know, a dozen or 18 different areas if you wanted, and it'd be just massive. You wouldn't be able to go back to previous areas because there'd be no actual need as the player, but it would give interesting encounters and play styles. And I just think it'd be better than the existing Space Hulk game, because I'll admit I'm critical of Space Hulk just because the general idea is dumb. Send heavily armored troops who can barely turn around into narrow corridors, while gene stealers that function like xenomorphs just run around and rip your dudes in half. Like, there isn't a single part of that sentence that, when combined, does not sound stupid compared to a more tactically viable and reasonable solution. Send in assault marines, send in just a ton of tacticals. You could even send some scouts and neophytes in to learn about how to be a space marine. They drop them in everywhere else, you know, might as well throw them into a place where they'll probably die anyways. But it's just my idea. Like, I think it'd be fun. It'd be interesting. You could have like super rare encounters like the Fallen.
I need more information on Preston. I'm very close to the children. But I'm still in the dark about his obsession with the Martyr. He used to be part of his retinue. What is he looking for? Like a group of specialists.
That was a pretty good mind destruction. Yeah, if you didn't read that little exchange, essentially Klosterheim's obsession with the Martyr comes from when he served under the Lord Inquisitor. And that he's not the only person obsessed with Uther Tiberius and the Martyr as a whole. Heal already. Hate standing around. I don't know how I feel about this. Do I have any other guns I can swap this out for? Long las? I mean, grav pistol wouldn't be terrible. Like, the HP gain on critical hit is super nice, but I can't. The damage on the las guns are just too crap. 80 damage. Suppression gain on kill, poison on physical skill hit. Let's go with this one, because at least it has effects that will actually function. Not bad. I can actually vibe with this.
Overheat.
Doesn't have a lot of heat buildup, which kind of blows, but you know, I kind of saw that coming. Ah, don't hit me with fart lightning. Oh, and he has a fart cloud. Shut up about overheat, lady. Damn. We get it. Las weapons kind of blow. I don't know, if I'm gonna use las weapons, I kind of want that one skill that gives me bonus damage when I reach a certain level of overheat.
Overheat.
Admittedly, that was not a bad hit. Like, that completely blew through all those guys. Yeah, it's apparently an overheat when you fire it. But I can't complain about that. Like, you saw the number of dudes that just blew through. That's pretty solid. This Apostle of Nurgle and his fart lightning and fart clouds isn't going to be fun. Alright, just hit me with that, and then I'm going to jump in and slap you. That worked out actually really well. Still wish my relic armor wasn't stupid invisibility crap. You know how easy this would be if I could just summon a bunch of hollow bros to slap people? You remember how it was early episodes? I was running around just running all over these dudes.
This area needs to be clean.
And let's just... hang on, let's round up everybody. Come on, everybody get in a group.
Overheat.
Yeah, look at that. One overheat for that entire segment blown out? Worth.
Overheat.
Worth with a capital W-E-R-F. Worth. I think for this character I'm gonna play as a, like a hardline hardline Inquisitor. I'm not... every other, like my main characters, I always play as more of a radical, because I find the radical choices to be a lot more reasonable. And they make sense to me, like, hey, this guy was under the, mind control of chaos. Do you kill him or spare him because, he couldn't help himself? And I'm like, realistically, I would understand being under, mind control from chaos. But then, like, the non-radical is just like, it's his fault, kill him. And it's like, is that really the best option?
Overheat. Shots fired.
Seems a little bit much. It's not, like, some of the stuff throughout it's like, I understand where these guys are coming from. Like, all the encounters I've had, there hasn't been a dude who's just like, nah fam, I just really like chaos. In those cases, I'd just be like, okay, just blap him in the head and move on. But it's always, a series of unfortunate events have occurred that resulted in this. So I can't exactly hold the victim here at fault. But I mean, that's kind of 40K in general, Due process isn't really a thing that exists. The Inquisitor, you're at the whim of whoever it is. If they're a hardcore traditionalist, you're gonna get just destroyed. But if they're more of a radical Inquisitor, you're likely gonna get some understanding. Or you won't get shot immediately and you'll be forced into working for them, which... I mean, the option between death or working for an Inquisitor depends on how much you value your life. Not gonna lie, the chaos spawn in this look really weird. I think it's just because I'm used to the chaos spawn, really seeing them in Total War Warhammer, where they're big, bulky, and They're like a meatball full of anger.
Something useful, I hope. Moves in mysterious ways soon. It's never just light or dark. You should already know that.
Yeah, and then the Grey Knights being super special plot armor protected space marines who are super special and fancy and protected from all sorts of demonic possession by being specially trained. I would say, if you cannot imagine what the Chaos Space Marines are like, imagine every anime where there's a character who's like 12 years old, but they're magically some special forces, like SEAL Team 6 character, and they're like, oh, I was in Afghanistan fighting terrorists when I was, 4.5. Like, that's essentially the Grey Knights. Overblown, essentially plot armor driven, the super special Black Ops of super special Black Ops. I would argue they're more edgy than the Night Lords, who literally have lightning painted on their armor. Granted, Night Lords are dope as hell. Or they're more edgy than the Legion of the Damned, who are essentially zombie space marines who just appear from the warp to shoot demons and then vanish back into the warp to go elsewhere. They're on fire. Ghostly, somewhat skeletal, zombified space marines who are on fire perpetually. They're incredibly cool, and I love Legion of the Damned. But damn, that is edgy. That is like something a 12-year-old on DeviantArt would come up with. Still love them though. Them are the, I think it's the Phoenixes? I mentioned them before, Curse Founding. They have the ability to create flames that appear on them, their allies, and the flames kill demons. And then some Inquisitor was just like, "That evil, kill him!" Because the Inquisition's filled with radicals, hardliners, and dumbasses. Mostly dumbasses. Yet somehow they let I think it's the Black Dragons run around, and those dudes have like bone spurs growing out of their arms like Baraka from Mortal Kombat. And they're like, yeah, we don't like those guys, but we're gonna let them do their thing. Really? They got giant bone spurs that they stab people with. That's not weird. You know, they can stab anyone with those. They don't have magical flames that only hurt demons and enemies. Like, maybe you should take another look at them. Just a thought. Just shoot the turrets. Stop trying to shoot the skulls. They're already useless. You know what? Fine. We will run in, die. Did we destroy them? I think... No, we didn't. I just want to shoot the stupid bolter turrets. They're the main threat here. I wish I had a grenade. Boosted crit chance is phenomenal, but really wish I just had a grenade to shoot these things. Otherwise I have to run up like an idiot and I can't select the guys in the middle. Okay, Go. Slap. Slap. You are the worst Inquisitor ever. Why was I trapped? Like, I couldn't go back through the door? I'm okay with dying, it's just... I really wish the targeting in this game was better. This game has some janky targeting. Look at this. It still wants to bring me in to fight it, even though I literally cannot fight this. Get back to cover. Yeah. No healing from my inoculator. That is trash. I kind of wish they at least forced a degree of healing off inoculators. Because just being like, yeah, you can get one that doesn't heal you. I gotta kind of question the wisdom behind that. Let me just look at this real quick. And blap. No, I can't even do like any attacks. Yeet. Oh, great. More stuff. I really wish there was a nautical-themed Chaos Space Marine band. Like, I've seen people do their own version, and I love the look of them. Or I wish there was a samurai group, because the closest we have that I know of is White Scars, and they're more like Mongols, which are still cool. The Mongols were pretty intimidating throughout history. It's just, I'd rather have some samurai, especially because you could have like special power swords, or they could use a special version of a I'm trying to think of it. Like, it's the wow, that actually worked really well. Oh, I'm trying to blank. The Eviscerator? It's a gigantic two-handed, like, greatsword version of a chainsword, which is pretty cool. Let's be honest. It's just kind of weird that, like, they're used, I think, by, like, Sisters Repentia? Or, not Sisters of Silence, because those are, I think, Psychers, or Psychic Blanks. It's... I know Death Cult Assassins use them, which is why it's weird that they don't in this game. They're for the Crusader. I was like, okay, weird weapon choice, but whatever. You know, who am I to judge? I'm just a lore nerd. Granted, inconsistencies with the lore has been a problem this, not even this game, but this franchise has had for ages. It's inconsistencies, or it's issues of they have these really cool ideas, and then they're just like, hey, you know what'd be even cooler than fleshing these ideas out? Just not.
Target acquired.
And they proceed to then never do so. And you're just like, oh, that would have been a cool idea had you fleshed out. Like, there's this one small warp storm anomaly thing that has been studied in the lore, and there's like a ghost ship that comes through every so often, and anybody who tries to get on the ship vanishes. And then within the system, there's also there's a moon that had a mining colony on it, like a mining station, and it went dark, and then they found the entire colony, like the entire mining facility, disassembled and placed in order on the moon, including the crew, completely dissected and each organ placed in a specific spot. And I'm like, why aren't you looking into that? Or like expanding on that? That sounds horrifying. And I find it interesting. That sounds like some Lovecraftian tier stuff, and I would totally be down for it. It honestly kind of sounds like it would be a Lovecraftian creature that would be completely different from all other existing factions. It would be interesting, but we're not getting that. But that's just me. I feel like they kind of do a disservice with certain aspects of the lore. They just kind of touch on it and they're like, yep, that's a thing. Isn't it scary? Let's move on. I'm like, are we sure we should just be moving on? I mean, at least do like 2 or 3 books to explain this.
Destroying all the hives of Nurgle. The whole area has been purged. Overheat.
I don't want to get near the giant chaos spawn because I know the damage output of those things. Not you, chaos spawn. I need to find the big chaos spawn so I can shoot him in the mouth.
Target in sight.
Wow, that didn't do as much damage as I had hoped. At least I'm getting the burn damage on him, that's the important part here. Gotta let the cooldown. Hey, he's dead! I didn't even see what I got.
The heat.
Double loot. Okay, and... okay. You know, I never know what to expect when it comes to loot. I never go in like, oh, I'm gonna be getting some good relics and stuff like, nah. I go in expecting crap. I hope for something better than crap, but I just expect crap every run because why would I get stuff that doesn't suck? And that's not like a defeatist attitude, it's just like, I just kind of expect it. Better to go in with low expectations and come out being like, yeah, that's exactly what I expected, than going in with high expectations and being disappointed. Alright, let's fire up this cogitator. Yep, that's definitely connecting a new sphere.
Tech Priest, I cannot access this cogitator. Now repeat that in proper High Gothic. So that is my next task then. I'll return to the ship.
Alright. With that done, that is all for now. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. If you are new, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.